Murtz Jaffer here with the latest evicted house guest and the second member of the jury, Jonathan Leonard. Jonathan, I'm going to get right into it. You had a great relationship with both Ty and Zach during the early portion of the game with the Boys Alliance. Was Roberto's departure the catalyst for where things soured between you and Ty?
Absolutely. I mean, I was in Rob's ear all the time talking about how I feel like Zach got our best interests at mind. Ty has our best interests at mind. I figured we all had each other's back early in the game, but I was so very wrong. And then when Rob got back door, it just like it assured me that I was right. So I mean, they wanted to evict Rob and get me to come over again with them. I just could not do it. I fought with Rob every step of the way. He was not alone in his fight. I told him, regardless of what happens, I'm going to be campaigning for him. And I was so sad to see him go. But I knew after he left, I had an uphill battle. I had to join them or go against them. And I'm happy I chose this one.
What do you think contributed most to your eviction? Canada saving Santina, Shania winning the power of veto, or Ty naming you as the replacement nominee?
I mean, it was an odd chain of events that happened throughout the week, but that's Big Brother Canada. That's the beautiful thing. You never know what's coming next. And so you got to be prepared. That's part of your strategy. You got to be willing to pivot and make changes. But I don't blame anybody, man. I mean, if I had to blame somebody, it would probably be Ty because we've been gaming against each other since the Rob thing. So I mean, I can't blame Shania for saving her friend, and Canada has a voice, and I'm happy to have a voice, and they saved who they feel was right to be saved in Santina, who I love and respect as a game player. So if I had to put a little bit of blame on someone, it would definitely be Ty for putting me on the block, because ultimately he could have picked somebody else.
You never managed to win HOH during your stay in the Big Brother house. Was that intentional, a strategy?
There was a couple times early in the game where I felt it wasn't best. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to lie, I tried in each and every one of them. I just came up short a few times. I feel like I didn't get the opportunity in the house to prove that I am a competitor. I didn't get the chance in any POVs. I didn't even get the fight for my game in a POV. So I do regret that. But at the same time, whatever happens, happens. But I would have loved to get an HOH, not because of the move part. I wanted those photos. I wanted that letter. And hey, I would have made a big move, but unfortunately it didn't happen that way. But I'm happy with the results for sure.
Can you tell me more about the Crown Alliance and its formation, why you chose to work with Kuzi, Daniel, Anika, and Hope?
Well, hey, that alliance was so special. It was that alliance was so special. We grew together. It wasn't people that we picked each other. It was bigger than a game alliance. I mean, we all come from different aspects of life, different aspects of the world, and we all represented something special in that house. And hey, I mean, when the chips were down for me, they came to me and they showed that they believed in me, and we got together and built something special. On a game standpoint, I felt so strong having the crown behind me, and I stood strong for the crown every step of the way. And I still do stand for the crown. There's 5 tips to that crown, and that's 5 of us. Not one led over the other. We all worked together to move forward. And it was really special to me to get to know each and every one of them on a personal standpoint. They're beautiful, beautiful people, and I consider them dear friends of mine. And I look forward to, after this whole thing is over, building those friendships. The crown will stand tall at the end. There might be a few dents in the crown, but it will stand tall at the end.
Speaking of Hope, what did you make of that letter incident with him and Ty, and how did that situation affect your game at all?
Well, hey, that made me want to fight for my brother. The way they handled it, it was not the way I would have handled it. They really made it to hurt Hope, which I felt was unfair. Hey, like I told Hope, because he had a habit of beating himself up over things that he felt that he did wrong. I told him, if the worst thing you do in this game is break a rule out of love and compassion, that's something you should be able to sleep with. It was a letter that was made from love. Yes, you broke a rule, but something beautiful came of it. I got my letter, and I can't tell you, words can't describe how appreciative and how much that letter meant to me. I'll never feel another feeling like that. And I would like to thank Hope to help make that happen. I mean, a rule was broken, but at the end of the day, beautiful things came from it. So I'm okay with it for sure. But at the same time, that made me want to work against Ty, Zach, and Dennis even harder. So everything happens for a reason, and the crown came from all of this, and the crown is something beautiful. So
you formed a very strong connection with Hope in the house. How hard was it to campaign against him, and why do you think the house guests chose to keep him over you?
well, that was the tricky part. I felt like I didn't do myself, on a game standpoint, much justice campaigning, because I was campaigning against my best friend in there and closest ally. I mean, he was one half of the alley oop. There was two of us. I mean, when I campaigned, I told people what I offered to the house, opposed to what I offer better than Hope. Like, I couldn't campaign against him. You know what I mean? When people asked me about Hope, I had nothing but good things to say, because I felt like no matter what happened, if I left the house or he left the house was leaving or was losing a good spirit and a good house member. But hey, I don't regret any of it. I really don't. It was a toss-up. I respect everyone's decision, and they felt they did what's best for their game. And at the end of the day, if I go out sitting next to my brother, that's the way I wanted to go out. So I'm no resentment, for sure.
Santina chose to confide in you that she was the secret HOH. Why do you think she chose you to tell her secret to?
Because I feel like she got dealt a hard hand at the beginning of this game. She put her trust in people that she really shouldn't have put her trust into. That really hurt her game. But with me, she felt comfortable, and rightfully so. I had her best interests at heart. I mean, as a person, we developed a really good friendship, and in game stance, we gained enough to know that we trusted each other. And I really wanted her to move forward. And even with the crown, I really wanted to try to build a bridge between Santina and the crown so we could all work together over time. And I'm hoping, even though I'm not in the house anymore, I'm sitting here, I planted enough seeds that can happen while I'm gone. Because I believe if the crown and Santina work together, they can become very, very strong in that house.
Who do you believe is playing the best game right now, and who, in your opinion, is pulling the strings in the Crown Alliance?
Well, that's a tricky one. Who I think, maybe I'm being biased because it's a Crown member. I think that, to be honest with you, I think Kuzi, Anika, and Daniel C are playing the best game collectively. I mean, three of them together are really playing this game very strategic, strong, and true to each other. I'd like to think that I was part of that while I was in the house, but I definitely think that Kuzi is the leader of that group and of the crown, and rightfully so. She is such a strong game player. But at the same time, the best thing about the crown was there was no strings. Everybody had a voice, as far as I could see, and everybody respected each other, and we moved forward together. But I would say Kuzi is the leader of that group for sure.
You are now a member of the jury. What can the remaining players do to win your vote?
Play their best game. I mean, everybody's game is different. Everybody in there is different. Nobody should play one person's game. Just play your own game, whether it's left, right, up, down, south, north, whatever it is. Play true to you, play your best game, and give it your all. And if you stand at the end, I will respect that the fullest, and you can guarantee you're going to get my vote.
And finally, if you had the chance to go back into the house and give a message to one of the players still in the house, who would you pick and what would you tell them?
I mean, I go back to Hope. I mean, every day I told him, I mean, you got it in you. It's in there. You know what I mean? Like, everybody sees the big Hope jumping around, fun, all this, but I seen the Hope on the inside. I seen his heart. I seen the man he wanted to be, and I seen the man I believe he is. So if I could go in there, I would I'd wrap my arms around him like he does me, and I tell you, I'd put my head on his head and I tell him, brother, you can do this. And that's exactly what I would say.
Jonathan Leonard, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate this.